Okay, now we are going to talk about the properties of surfaces where gases are exchanged or where gases diffuse from the environment across these surfaces. As we know, whenever we talk about diffusion, such as the one we talked about, the diffusion of dissolved particles from your villi to the blood, the same here. Whenever we have diffusion, we should have specific criteria for diffusion to happen efficiently. First of all, it should be thin. So the particles or the gases can diffuse across short distance. And this actually occurs at the wall of alveolus that I'm going to talk about it, inshallah, in details after this. Also, they should have large surface area. Large surface area. We have many of alveoli that take the gases to the blood supply. We have millions of them in order to take many molecules at once or at the same time. Also, these surfaces are close to blood supply. So, whenever we have an alveolus, this alveolus is surrounded by blood supply to take in oxygen directly to the heart and giving off carbon dioxide out back from the heart out of the body through the wall of the alveolus, then out of the body. So here we have concentration gradient. Whenever the blood is flowing continuously, so it is taking oxygen continuously to the heart, that means always the blood is in need for oxygen at the wall of the alveolus, so it can pick up another molecules of oxygen. The same for carbon dioxide. So these gases diffuse across their concentration gradient from the area of high concentration to the area of low concentration. Oxygen is higher at the blood and it is lower oxygen is higher out of the body in the environment and is lower inside the blood. So the oxygen diffuses from outside to inside to the blood, while carbon dioxide, because of respiration, it is always higher in the blood as a waste product. So the carbon dioxide is always higher in the blood, so it diffuses from where it is high in the blood to where it is low outside to the atmosphere. Inshallah, we are going to talk about the percentage of each gas in the inspired and expired air. So these are the three main characteristics mainly: thin, large surface area, and we have concentration gradient. One is high and one is low. So this actually is occurred by having good blood supply and well ventilated. Well ventilated, that means that we have a good source of oxygen outside the body where it can diffuse to inside. And we have many parts in the respiratory system. They work together to make a breathing process happen efficiently. And we will talk about it later on. At the same time, the surfaces should be kept moist in order for cells to stay alive. As we know, if any cell it dries or any cell lacks water severely, or any cell doesn't have water, that means the chemical reaction cannot happen and many things stop happening. That's why the cells should be kept moist. So these are the main properties with the reason you have to memorize them very well. Okay, let's move now to page 144, figure 11.2. This figure shows the path of the air. First of all, air gets inside your body through the nasal cavity or through your nose. Then it goes down to the larynx where we have vocal cords. That's why when the air particles collide with the vocal cords, make them vibrate, the sound is produced. Then after this, after larynx, we have the main windpipe, which is called the trachea. This main windpipe, as you see, it is protected or supported by rings of cartilage. By rings of what? Of cartilage, in order to prevent its collapsing. Once the air gets inside the wind, the trachea doesn't collapse. It stays upright, as you see. It doesn't collapse. It stays as it is. So in order to stay as it is and to be supported very well, it is wrapped, as you see, by rings of cartilage. Then after this, the air goes to each lung. How does it go? A trachea also, it is divided into two main tubes. These are called bronchi, and the one is called bronchus. Every tube that is divided from trachea, it is called bronchus. Two together called bronchi. So bronchi go to lungs, and every bronchus is divided into many small bronchioles. Do you see these bronchioles? And the bronchioles end up with pocket or sac-like structures. They are called alveoli. Do you see alveoli? These pockets or these air sacs where gases are exchanged or where gases diffuse to the blood and out of the blood. So here are the sites of gaseous exchange at alveoli, and the one is called alveolus, and more than one called alveoli. Okay, so you have to know the air in the respiratory tract, the tract of air, starting from nose, then at the alveolus. Here, as you notice, we have muscles that help in a breathing process. Now, one of these main muscles is called diaphragm. Diaphragm is a dome, as you see, dome shaped. It's a sheet of muscle. When we say sheet, it means it is flattened. It is a dome-shaped muscle and sheet of muscle that is located under your lungs. And we have another muscles, as you see here. These muscles, they are called intercostal muscles. They are called intercostal muscles. These are the muscles, and they always appear as dark areas here. The ones that are light, do you see the ones that are light or with white color? The circles here that are white, these are ribs. These are ribs. These are bones, not muscles. The ones that are darker, these are the muscles. They are found between ribs. That's why they are called intercostal. Inter means between. So these intercostal muscles are found between ribs or rib bones or rib cage bones. So you have to know these two muscles, these two types, the diaphragm and intercostal muscles. The outside ones are called external, and they have a very important role in breathing. And the inside ones, closer to the lungs, are called internal intercostal muscles. And also they have another role. You can have them later on, inshallah. Okay, here is the main function of each of the trachea. As we said, it is the main windpipe that directs air into the lungs, and how the air enters from nose then to the mouth. And in nose we have hairs. These hairs, fine hairs, we have the small hairs, as we know, that are seen, and we have tiny hairs. Okay, we have fine hairs and tiny, don't mix between them. We have like small hairs that we can see by our eyes. They prevent the dust from getting in. And also we have along the respiratory tract here, from trachea down in the bronchi, we have ciliated cells that we talked about before in the first semester as specialized cells that they waft mucus. So here in your nose you have mucus and you have small hairs, and down you have ciliated cells. So don't get mixed between ciliated cells and the small hairs that you have inside your nose. Small hairs we can see, but ciliated cell we cannot see. They are microscopic. Okay, so here cilia, they trap the dirt and they waft mucus out, and mucus is found along the respiratory tract. It is being produced by goblet cells. I will talk about it later on. So also we have the air should be kept moist. I mean that the air is warm, and we have mucus that contains vapor, that contains water in it. With warm air, we have evaporation of water. This evaporation of water is very important to happen for gaseous diffusion or gaseous exchange. So here we have the epiglottis, as you see. Epiglottis is like a flap that closes the passage between esophagus and trachea. As you know, that esophagus where food actually is conducted to the stomach. So in order for the bolus not to get stuck in your airway, okay, so that's why we have epiglottis. It closes in order for the air to pass freely to the windpipe or to the trachea. Okay, as we said, here are the vocal cords found inside the larynx, and here are the lungs, and here is the diaphragm. Okay, here are the goblet cells. The goblet cells, we said, they are like goblet shape, and they produce a mucus. We took them in the digestive system. We say we have goblet cells in the digestive system in order to produce a mucus to prevent eating away the cells by enzymes, or the stomach wall or lining by acid. So mucus in the digestive system, it is produced in order to protect the cells, and here in the respiratory system, it is produced in order to trap germs or dust and bacteria. And you see cilia, they waft mucus out. They get it up because mucus should not accumulate inside your body. If mucus stays, it is a good environment for bacteria to reproduce, and it may cause many diseases. On the other hand, it may block the air from getting in or out, so it affects the process of gaseous exchange or diffusion. So mucus should be wafted out or should be removed out of the respiratory tract by ciliated cells. So you have to distinguish ciliated from goblet cells. Here are the cilia, how cilia look under microscope. So goblet cells produce sticky mucus to trap and eliminate particulate matter and microorganisms, and also produces water which evaporates into the air in the nose and moistens it. It's very important for nose to be kept moistened or moist. Okay. Now, alveoli. Alveoli, we said that they are pocket or air sacs where gases diffuse or where gases are exchanged. Once the oxygen gets or the air, it contains many gases. It contains oxygen, nitrogen, it contains also carbon dioxide, but in little amount than in the blood. So the gases here diffuse. The two gases that diffuse only carbon dioxide and oxygen, either in or out of the blood. So here is the alveolus. As you see, here is the blood supply. Here we have many capillaries surrounding the alveolus for efficient gaseous exchange at cellular level. We said capillaries link between arteries and vein for gaseous exchange. So as you see here, the the capillaries uh, carry or take in oxygen, how oxygen gets into the capillary going to the heart, because oxygen is higher in the alveolus inside than in the blood, so it diffuses according its concentration gradient, while carbon dioxide diffuses out of the blood or the capillary from the heart, back from the heart out of the blood to the alveolus, as carbon dioxide is less concentrated in the alveolus than in the blood, so it diffuses from where it is high in the blood to the alveolus inside, or to the wall of the alveolus. As you see, alveolus, it is one cell thick only. um, you have to know why alveolus is uh, efficient at diffusion or gaseous exchange, because it is thin wall, one cell thick, which provides short distance for gases to diffuse. As we said, continuous blood flow. We have lots of blood vessels to take in oxygen and to give off carbon dioxide out of the body, and we have large surface area of them. We have millions of alveoli, and of course it is moist. It is moist because it has water, of course, and the temperature is 37. This water evaporates continuously, providing good environment for gases to flow. Thank you.